Back to another episode of the TVC Collector. This is going to be for March 30th and 31st. Going to look at some more prices and what's selling and what's hot and what's not where it comes to the vintage collection. There's another really good extravaganza of graded figures that are selling. So we're going to look at that, and which is always a good thing because the grading. Some people are into grading, some people are not. Some people are openers, some people are carded collectors, some people are both. But I really enjoy grading myself. A friend of mine got me into it a few years ago. It's an expensive habit, but it's a really enjoyable way to preserve and keep your figures crisp and clean and damage free. For years and years and years, ever since the 1.0 TVC came out, I kept mine in protective cases, plastic Star Wars protective cases that they actually used to provide from Hasbro, or that you could buy from Hasbro Toy Shop. This goes back way back, and they're actually officially licensed Star Wars protective cases. And then obviously there's StarTech and ProTech and Figure Shield, and there's a lot of other options out there. But anyway, I kept all of mine for years in these protective cases, and then I also stored them in 30-gallon bins. And as I've gotten to digging in these bins all these years later, looking for certain figures to send into the grading company, I have found some damage on some of my cards, which is really heartbreaking because I worked so hard over the last 18 years to keep well 16 years to keep these things pristine. So a crease here, a bent corner there, and it's really disheartening. So I've been going through mine and getting them graded as much as possible to get them in that acrylic. And some of them I don't feel are grade worthy anymore, so I'm just going to get acrylics and put them in the acrylic. So just something to keep in mind. Grading is usually a niche community, but there is a lot of action that's going on, a lot of activity here recently, which is always a good thing for the vintage collection. So anyway, let's get into it. So right off the bat, we have an Ahsoka Tano. This is a VC 102. Again, the first release, the original release. This one went for 115 plus another $4 to ship, so about 118 shipped. That's here again, we've seen on previous videos and previous days, that's about where she's at. She's in that 120 to 125 range. Next up was a Tonica sister, so we have another Bria Tonica, the HasLab Cantina exclusive. This one went for 150. Again, that's where they seem to stay at right now in that 150. I love these. I got mine graded. I got Cine Tonica, got a 9.5 from AFA, and Bria got a 9.25, so I was really pleased with those. Next up, here's the brand new Deluxe Bays Malbus. Somebody paid $135 for this. I actually saw the seller had two and sold both of them. So I'm assuming that this seller probably got them from Singapore or somewhere. A lot of the toy reviewers will buy early because they want to be the first one to review something. So, but yeah, if you just be patient, this is not going to be this much when they come in. So just wait a little while and they'll come down. But at any rate, this one sold for 135 shipped. So moving on, then we get into the really nice stuff. Here's another Revenge, unpunched Revenge VC64 Leia. This looked like a super nice crispy card. Went for 285 plus a 15 shipping, so $300 for this. And again, it looked every bit worth that. I mean, it's a super clean looking card, so very nice. I still need to pick one of these up loose. I've talked about this before. I actually have the Death Star set, but it's factory sealed, so I'm not going to open it up, and I'm trying to piece together all the Revenge cards separately that I can just put in an acrylic. And so, anyway, this is on my radar someday to get. I got too many things on the burners right now, so that's on my back burner. But anyway, moving on. Here was the counterpart to that, which is the Revenge of the Jedi Salacious Crumb. So this one sold up in Canada for 581. I don't know again what the shipping is. This would have showed it was $30 to ship to me, but we could probably say another. Let's just say 10, $15, so about $600 for that. These guys have come down quite a bit just because of the re-release of Salacious Crumb on the Return of the Jedi card VC66A and the Jabba's playset that came out a few years ago. But still, if you want a Revenge of the Jedi and you want the original, this is where they're going for. I've seen these recently sell anywhere from 485 to about 600, so in that price range. So very nice item. Then let's get into the graded figures. All right, so now we got Hondo Onaka, uncirculated 9.0 VC173. This one was listed for 109.99. The best offer accepted on it was 70. So here again, we go with the $19.40 shipping from this seller. So we're looking at about a $90 figure by the time it gets to your house. So, but that's good for a 9.0 uncirculated figure. That's a good one. I like Hondo myself too. Next up, we had this I think it's Zori Bliss, VC 157 for the Rise of Skywalker, AFA uncirculated 9.0. So that one sold for, what is that, 111 shipped is what the final sale price was on that. Next up, we had another Fennec Shan. We had one on the previous video as well, but this one went for 109.99. No best offer accepted. Somebody just bought it straight out, so 110 plus another 20, so that's about $130 for that figure. And I forget what the previous one sold for, but I want to say it was in the $90 range. So, but here again, that's a great figure. I love that Fennec Shan figure. Next up, this was a pair. So you had the very first release of the Beskar Mando. This is not the first release of Mando. The first release was VC 166, but VC 181, I think he's the 181. That's the first one release of the Beskar. So that was 9.0 graded. The Grogu that also it was the first release of Grogu was VC 184. That was 9.0 uncirculated. And so the pair of these went for 130. That's a great deal. So you got 130 plus, so about 140. So that's about $70 a piece shipped to your house for two 9.0 graded figures. That is an excellent deal. Somebody got a great deal on that right there. Moving on. Ooh, now we got a Luke Skywalker. This is the 2025 release. This figure was released originally. Oh, I take that back. This is not the he yeah, this is the 2020 release. I'm sorry, it's the 2019 release. He actually listed it as a 2020, but it's a 2019 release. And you could tell because of the warning label is covering the Hildebrandt logo. So this is a 925 uncirculated, super nice grade, high quality grade, gold level. But this is the first release. They just re-released this again last year where they moved the warning label down to the bottom and that was the 2025 release. So same figure, same sculpt, same body, everything, just a different card and a re-release. And I think they re-released him because they re-released the Luke X-wing as well. So that's still available for sale. We've seen them sell here. I think you can get them easily for $99 plus tax and whatever shipping. But at any rate, I've seen a few of them sell here for about 110, 120 again by the time you get it to your house. So at any rate, this is the 2019 release, the first release of that, and so that's a great grade on a great figure. Love the Luke Skywalker. Again, that's a 96 figure too. So, and just refreshing people's memory, what that means. That means that it was a original Kenner figure that has been done in modern. So it's one of the original Kenner 96 that we call them 96ers, or I call them 96ers. Moving on, here's another 96er. So this is again the 2019. He listed it as 2020, but it's 2019. The Jawa VC 161, another 96 figure, 925 uncirculated. So that one went for 140. 140 shipped straight to your house. Great buy on that one. This one here is a HasLab Ghost. No, this isn't the Ghost exclusive. These are the ones. This was from the 2-pack. So the Ghost exclusives came with Kanan, Zeb, Ezra, and Hera, and then Hasbro made the 2-pack with Chopper and Sabine. And so this was a really nice AFA 9.0. A friend of mine actually bought this. The listed price was 155. He offered 135. The seller accepted. Here again, it's got the label at the bottom like he likes them. So he was really happy to pick this up and add it to his collection. I think he's got last I asked, he's got most of the Ghost figures. I think he's got one or two left that he needs to get. So in the mural background. So anyway, great figure, great pickup there. Now here's a couple that were down under. These are 1.0s. This is nice. I really like this. Here's a Revenge of the Jedi. So this is the retail version. This probably came straight out of a case. I doubt the seller bought it off the pegs, but it does have the Boba Fett prototype offer on it. And this was a CAS graded 90, unpunched. That is really a nice figure. So he had this listed for 230 in Australian dollars. The best offer accepted on it was 200 Australian dollars, which translates into about $143 in US currency. Again, don't know what the shipping was, but let's just say that it was probably about 150 bucks. For an unpunched 1.0 Revenge of the Jedi, that's a great deal for a CAS 90 as well. So that's a really nice figure. Same seller had another 1.0. He had the Emperor's Royal Guard. So this was a CAS 90 plus. And there's your subgrades. It had a 90 for the card, 90 for the blister, and a 95 for the figure. So that's a 90 plus versus the previous one was a 90. But anyway, this is again another unpunched 1.0 figure. This is the 2012 version. They did re-release this figure in 2019 or 2020, I believe, but it wasn't punched. This one is unpunched and offerless as well. So this one was listed at 250 AUD. The best offer accepted on it was 210 AUD. So that translates into about 150 US dollars. So once again, really great price for an unpunched, offerless 90 plus graded figure. That's awesome. And these were both down in Australia. So it's good to see that the boys down under like them graded figures too, eh? Sorry, that's my crude attempt at the Australian accent. Anyway, moving on to the Jango Fett and a Boba Fett. So here's two figures. Both of them are punched. This is a 1.0 figure. This has the warning text on the back. We've talked about this in previous videos, so it's got the collect all these figures on there. I do believe there was one of these without the text, I think. But there are multiple variations of this card as well. So this was the 2011 8.5, and then the seller also was selling this was a 8.5. I believe this is a Black Series. I'm pretty sure that this is a Black Series. This is not the VC 186. So it's kind of sneaky on this. It, it says Boba Fett AFA 85, but VC 186 does not have this logo. This was in 2023. The VC 186 was in here. Let's go check my thing real quick because VC 186. Take This is why it's so cool to take pictures of all your stuff. You can just refer to it at a heartbeat. So yeah, here's our VC 186. This is what it looks like. And actually I have a 9.5 graded one of these as well. So this is the Black Series 6-inch. So what you got here is you got a Jango Fett, and it does say 6-inch Boba Fett there as well. So, but you know, it's easy to get confused on these because the card looks the same, but the original release it came out in 2021, I believe, for the vintage collection. So this is the 2023 release. So still a nice lot there. This seller had these listed for 350 bucks. The best offer accepted on it was 250 for both of those graded figures. So a 6-inch and a 3 3/4 inch. So hopefully the seller paid attention to that and kind of understood what he was getting. But at any rate, that was a pair. So moving on and getting away from the graded figures, we had the Figurin Dan and the Modal Nodes. So this is all the seven pack of the Cantina band members for the Cantina. So $90 free shipping. These did get down quite a bit for a while. I saw these getting down into the $45 to $50 range from Amazon. They were just trying to be on clearance. But obviously with the Cantina coming out, I think they've kind of coming back on the rise. People are wanting to get them in their Cantinas. So good price on that. $90 free shipping. Here was a Bantha. with the Tuscan Raider. It's factory sealed. $100 free shipping on that, so $100 from Cypress, Texas. If you can't tell from my accent, that's where I'm from, is Texas. But at any rate, these guys are still selling. The carded figure in there is super nice. Really love those. And that carded figure is unpunched. In the original photo for the what they call the digital rendering that they did, they showed it as punched, but it's actually an unpunched card when you get this and open it up. So, $100 for that. Moving on, let's get into some vehicles. We had another Walmart exclusive TIE Fighter. This is the 2018. This one went for 110, free shipping. So that's right about where they've been selling consistently, is in that 100 to 110 range. And if you get a real banger box, maybe you can get one for about 90 or 85 or something like that. But if it's any kind of a good looking box, they seem to be running at about 110 right now. Next up, we had another Boba Fett Starship, which we know is the Slave One. This one went for 120 plus 25 shipping, so about 145 shipped to your house. I talked about this before on the previous video. Really like these. The stand that it comes with is awesome, that they started including stands with these. So I've got one of these opened up, put on my wall. I put the Boba Fett. I didn't use this Boba Fett that came with him. I put the Boba Fett from Morak, which after he repainted his armor from season 2, and I put Mando and Fennec Shan in there with him. So really love it. Stands up right on the wall. Takes very little space. I made a shelf. I mean, just literally, I don't know. It's probably not even 12 inches across. It's probably more like 10 inches across. But stand it upright, and it's awesome. Looks like it's just coming straight out of the wall. So anyway, 145 on this. Here was the 2013 Slave One. I don't think these came with the stand. Now, they redid this in 2020. They re-released this same ship. I talked about this on the previous video. So they re-released the Empire Strikes Back box. It did come with the stand. And then the Book of Boba one, they just repainted it again with the right paint schema for that series, and it came with the stand. So those two ships are practically identical, and they both come with a stand. I do not know if the 2013 came with a stand. I don't think it did. If anybody knows better, that's opened one of these in the comments, you can tell me. Comment in the comments and let me know about that. I have one of these, but it's still factory sealed in the shipper box. I never opened it. So anyway, if you're wanting one to open, you might want to go with the 2020 release, because it actually comes with the stand. But anyway, this one went for what is that, about 144, 145 for this. And the seller did point out too on this that it's still factory sealed, but he said the tape is kind of stretched and it looked like it was trying to open, but it hadn't been open. So anyway, if you want one of these mint in the box for the ESB version, they run about 150 to 1. I mean, actually, I take that back. They probably run a little bit upwards because the ESB boxes, obviously, OT fans are going to want that one. I think I've seen them for about 170, 150 to 170. So, but that's what this one went for by the time you paid for shipping. So, anyway, 150 for the original release. Moving on, here was a graded one from Disruptor. This is really cool. It's a speeder bike, the Mandalorian speeder bike. It's uncirculated 9.0. He listed this for $10,000, and the best offer accepted on it was 250. So he came down off of that quite a bit. Um, that's a big stretch there. 10 grand for for a graded biker scout. So anyway, it's a really cool piece. Obviously, he sent the whole thing in, got the whole thing graded. He sent a case of these in, which, as I recall, I think there were 3 in a case if you ordered a case. So there was about 3 in a case, maybe 2, but he sent the whole sealed box in. That's how you get the uncirculated. So AFA opened the box and they graded it, and that one came out as a 9. So good deal on that there at $250 free shipping. Here's another Antok Merrick X-Wing. This one went for $229, $230, plus another $20 to ship it. So, I mean, we're talking $250 for this one, and we have seen these pretty consistently shipped for $250. This was a really nice box. It looked like it looked pretty clean from all the pictures. I didn't see a whole lot of damage to it, but yeah, this is on the upper end of the scale for this ship. We've been seeing them consistently so for about $200. So 250 for that one. Nice. And again, the Antok Merrick in there's the real prize. It goes for $100 all by itself. Here was a good deal on a ghost. This ghost was actually opened. The person had put in the comments that they opened it, that they displayed it, but apparently they did not open the cards, so they still had the figures sealed, but the ghost was open and displayed. And they put that down below in the description that it was displayed from a smoke-free home, but he never opened the cards. So this has all the tiers with it, but it was an open box, and obviously he put it all back the way it was supposed to go. These wings, I'm assuming he took them back off because they kind of snap in place. There's four sections, this one, and then the other two sides, you snap those in place. So he put it all back together, and someone got a good deal on that, 502.99 with free shipping for an open ghost, but it had all the tiers with it. And again, the figures themselves, just for the four figures to sell them all, that's 350. So that's about $150 for a ship that you want to pull out. That was a good deal if you wanted the carded figures and you wanted a ghost to display. That's a lot cheaper. I've said before, when these came out from Hasbro Pulse, if you backed it, if you were a Pulse Premium member and had free shipping, it cost me $541 just to get it to my house. So this one went for well below that. So good deal for somebody. Congrats on that. And then lastly, we have another Razor Crest. Told you these are back up on the rise since the movie coming out. This one was $550, $50 shipping, so about 600 shipped, and it was in factory sealed box. So there you go. They're still running in that $6 to $650, even up to $700 range, depending on where you get them from. But that's all I have for now. Hope you enjoyed this video and just catching up on prices and where we're at. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification button if you want to get notifications when I do more content, and keep collecting the vintage collection. It's still alive and well. It's not dying. It's not going away. And so we'll see you on the next one.